now.
Yes, sir.
And is about to retire because he's aging out. Talk about
That's
age.
not very nice.
Yeah, well, he's just aging out. He just, he's too old. Let's face it. He's too old to do the job. Anyway, he's been great. We have, I think, the best National Guard in the country, and we're honored that way all the time. And you can't, people don't know this, you can't win that 2 years in a row. You win it so you're out of the running for the next year. So we get it like every other year. We have a great...
Got to spread the wealth a little bit.
Yeah, we have a great National Guard, and, I did not serve. I did not serve in our military, but I had the thrill of my life. I did 7 USO tours, went to Iraq 4 times, Afghanistan 4 times, and I've seen not just what the members of our Guard who've been deployed there many, many, many times, their sacrifice, but the sacrifice of their families.
And President Trump just signed a piece of legislation that you helped with, and that is the legislation that extends aid for members of the National Guard and the reserves, extending the GI Bill. Tell us more about that and how that will help people here in Minnesota.
Well, there is this kind of deployment called I hope I get this right, General, 12304 Bravo, good, deployment, and this is into... it can be a dangerous zone, but it's not considered a combat zone. Is that right?
Right. It's currently those members that are serving, for instance, in the Cyanide. We've had a medical unit 2 years ago, and we just had an infantry battalion come back this year, and they are not eligible for the benefits that Senator Franken and other members of our CODEL were able to get through his legislation, which is a fantastic, not only for our serving members, but for veterans in general for the GI Bill. So it was great work on his behalf, and he's been dogged on this since the issue came up.
Senator Klobuchar and I introduced this bill, and it was signed. They got their 9/11 GI benefits for those, and those guys, men and women, were under mortar fire all the time. And they also, the medical unit treated Egyptian soldiers who had been wounded by ISIS fighters there. So they were in real danger. We made sure that they could get their GI Bill, their 9/11 GI Bill rights, and we want to get more of those as well.
Just can I ask one more question here? So today is the 12-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina hitting New Orleans. And I'm just curious, what changes, improvements have you seen for our response to large natural disasters like this? How are we doing things better, hopefully, this time around?
I think post-Katrina, the FEMA has been professionalized. What we saw was that political appointments had been made to head FEMA. That was Brownie. And since then, FEMA has been professionalized. It takes a long time to do that, but I think you see that the response is much better here. This is an unbelievable storm. Perhaps I was told by one of your CCO weathermen that this may be, if it goes to a little bit longer, it could be what's called a million-year event.
Yeah, right
and
now.
And that happens. That only happens, I think, every 1,000 years or so.
Right.
Matt's the expert.
Right. Yeah, I think they've now passed the biggest rainfall total for any single event in U.S. history for this particular rainstorm.
You said day one, or first largest, second largest, and sixth largest rainfall in Houston
in
ever.
Houston history is in the last 3 days, which is just remarkable.
American history is not. It doesn't go back a million years.
Right. No. I think you just have to read about it. I think this is what happened with Noah and the Ark. I think it's roughly equivalent for that amount of water.
Okay, even that wasn't a million years
No,
ago.
right. My math's a little fuzzy.
Well, Senator Franken and General Nash, thank you to both of you for joining us and sticking around after the fair. And thank you to all of you, too.
Can I say one thing?
And yes, what would you like to say?
I would like to say one thing in all seriousness, because our hearts and prayers are with the people in Houston, that there are agencies like the Red Cross that need help, and people watching should be thinking that they can contribute in some way there too.
Thank you. And there are definitely ways to do that. You can text. We put that number up. I believe it's 90999 to help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.